had an a value of 1. When we put them in standard form, do you guys remember that? They all had an a value of 1.
Yeah,
some of them had an a value that wasn't 1, but once we factored out a GCF, the a value in the leftovers was 1. Can you put your phone away? Thank you. So today we're going to learn a special trick for factoring when our, can you put your phone away too, please? For factoring when our a value is not 1. Okay, because this actually can happen, and it happens a lot. All right, so if you look at our first example here, don't write this down because you'll be mad if you have to erase it. If we look at trying to find factors of 4 that sum to -9, do you see that there aren't any?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm here to tell you that this trinomial is in fact factorable. Okay, so our first step on all of these is going to still be to check for a GCF because we might have one. Okay, our second step is going to be to use a method that we call slide and divide. And it's named slide and divide because we're going to slide our a value over so that we can multiply it with our c value, like this. So we just take our a and we multiply it with our c. So we'll get x squared minus 9x plus 8. So that was slide the a. And then we multiply it with c. Now we can factor our helper trinomial that we just made. Okay, these are obviously not the same trinomial. They have different coefficients and constants. Okay, but our helper is going to help us factor our original. Would you please put your phone away so that I don't have to keep continuing to say it on this video? Okay, so we've got number 3. We're going to factor the helper. Oops, that's missing an L. Helper. Okay, so this is the helper. So we're looking now for factors of 8 that add up to -9. Yep, really quick. So factors of 8 that add to -9, -1 and -8. I like it. So x minus 1 times x minus 8. Okay, again, you don't have to write this. I just want you to think about it. If I do x times x, would I get 2x squared?
No.
No. So this is obviously not the factored form of that trinomial. It's just the factored form of our helper. Okay, so we have to keep going. So after we do a slide and factor, we have to do a step where we divide. So step number 4 is that we have to divide by what we slid. Divide by what we slid. What did we slide? Do you guys remember? Yeah. So we slid a 2, so we are going to divide by 2. Now, if we can, we have to reduce. Reduce and bottoms up, which I'm told is the name of a really inappropriate song. So you can enjoy factoring on 2 levels today. So 1 is not divisible by 2, so I just get to leave that alone for now. Do you see that 8 is divisible by 2?
Yes.
So that's turning into a 4, right? Okay, this one I can't reduce, but I have to swing that denominator bottoms up so that it becomes the coefficient of my x. So that gives me 2x minus 1, and then I just copy this one down, x minus 4. Okay, part B says that we have to check our work by distributing. Okay, so this is our factored form right here. Like, we're done with part A. We factored it. Now we're just going to make sure that it worked. Okay, so we're going to do 2x times x. That gives us 2x squared. 2x times negative 4. That gives us negative 8x. Negative 1 times x gives us negative x. And negative 1 times negative 4 gives us positive 4. My inner terms here are like terms. So when I combine them, I get 2x squared minus 9x plus 4. Which is what I started with at the beginning, so we did it right. Yep. Not raising your hand? Okay. Any questions about this? Okay. We're going to try another one. So sometimes we can change the directions around, but what the directions are still going to mean is just we still have to factor. So if your directions ask you for a pair of binomials, how many terms do binomials have?
2.
2. So these are just your binomial factors that multiply to this trinomial. So these directions are just asking you to factor our trinomial. Okay? We had this on our homework from yesterday too. All right, so first, do we have a GCF? No. So we have to get rid of this 6 in front of the y squared because all of our factoring tricks require having a y value of 1. So we're going to slide the 6 and multiply it with a negative 5. So that gives us y squared minus 13y minus 30. That's my helper trinomial. It's going to help me factor my OG trinomial. They're not the same. Okie dokie. Now I'm looking for factors of negative 30 that sum to negative 15. So 1, 30, 2. I know there's a 2 in there because it's even. 2 goes in 15 times. Whoops, I wrote 15 down here. It should have been 13. Did you guys catch that?
Nope.
So that should be negative 13 down there. It should be 2 and negative 15 for my magic numbers, yeah. So now I'm going to factor my helper as y plus 2 times y minus 15. What did I slide at the beginning? A 6. So if I slide a 6, I must divide by 6. So I'm going to divide the 2 by 6 and the 15 by 6. Now both of those reduce, so I'm going to show the reducing as a separate step so that everybody can see it. Okay, do you see that 2 and 6 have a common factor of 2 because they're both even? So if I divide 2 by 2, I get 1, right? What do I get if I divide 6 by 2? Yeah. So if I reduce 2 over 6, I get 1 over 3. Okay, let's do this one. What common factor do 15 and 6 have? 3. So what's 15 divided by 3? 5. And what's 6 divided by 3? Okay, so we reduced them both. Now we're ready to send them to the club. Bottoms up. You missed that part, Andy. Okay, so that gives us 3y plus 1 times 2y minus 5. And we're done. Questions? Okay. Let's do this one really quick. So, what do we know about the area of a rectangle? Yeah. Area equals length times width. So the area, guys, is our product. And the length and the width are our factors. So if it's asking us to find the dimensions, those are the length and the width, which are the factors. You see how these two directions are actually asking us for the same thing? It says find the pair of binomial factors. Find the factors length and width. They're different ways of asking us the exact same thing. So if we have a product, we're going to try to factor it. Sound good? Okay. So do we have a GCF? Not on this one. 3, 4, and 15 don't have a common factor other than 1. So let's slide the 3. So we get x squared minus 4x minus, what is that, 45? Then we want to see if we can find factors of negative 45 that sum up to negative 4. Whoa, sorry. I was just trying to give us a little bit more room over there.
9, negative 9, 5.
Yeah, 5 and negative 9, good. So I can write this as x plus 5 times x minus 9. Okay, that's my helper trinomial factored. But I'm not done because when I look at x times x, I know it doesn't give me 3x squared. Okay, so I still have to do my divide part. I did my slide. Now I have to divide. So if I slid a 3, I have to divide by 3. Does 3 go into 5, or do they share any common factors to reduce? No. So that one just goes bottoms up. 3x plus 5. What about x minus 9? Yeah, 9 over 3 reduces to 3, so it's x minus 3. That one was a little bit shorter. Any questions? Oh, and we can just say, okay, this one's the length, this is the width. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. All right, so far today we've just been factoring to find binomial factors, or factoring to find a length and a width. But we can also, remember, use factoring as a tool for solving a quadratic equation. That's what we're going to do on the back. So step number 1 is check for a GCF. Do we have one? Okay, one of these days we will, I promise. So our A value is not 1, so we're going to slide the 6 and make a helper trinomial whose A value is 1. So slide the 6 and we get 0 equals x squared plus 13x plus 36. And now we're going to factor the helper. Okay, so we want factors of 36 that sum to 13. 1, 36, 2, 18, 3, and 12, 4, and 9. I kind of ran out of room. 6 and 6. You are correct. It is 4 and 9. Okay, so that'll give me 0 equals x plus 4 times x plus 9. And if I slide, I must divide. Oh, I forgot to do slide the a value. Sorry, guys. So we slid the 6. All my numbers are messed up now. That was number 2. Factor the helper was number 3. 4 is divide. Okay, so we're going to divide by the 6. Do you see that both of these can reduce? What common factor do 4 and 6 have? 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, what common factor do 9 and 6 share? 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, both of these still have denominators, so we have to do the bottoms up. So that gives us 0 equals 3x plus 2 multiplied with 2x plus 3. Now, we've been solving problems like this since last Wednesday, right? This is all ready to go for the ZPP. Okay, so we still have to find our solutions and write them in curly brackets. I'm going to do that over here because I have more room. So I have to do 3x plus 2 set equal to 0, and 2x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, so we get 3x equals negative 2, and 2x equals negative 3. And then over here I have to divide by 3, and here I have to divide by 2. Which one is more negative? The negative 2/3 or the negative 3/2? Negative 3/2, because this is negative 1.5 and that's negative 0.6 repeating. You see that this is the bigger negative number? Okay, so that one goes first. Negative 3/2 and negative 2/3. Now, let's look back at this step right here. What's the opposite of positive 2/3? Do you see how these two make a 0 for my ZPP? Okay, what's the opposite of positive 3/2? Do you see how those two would make a 0 for my ZPP? Okay. Questions? Okay, perfect. Okay, what's wrong with number 5? What don't we have? A 0. If we're going to use our ZPP at the end, we sure as heck need a 0. Okay? So I've got to move my 5t over to the other side. What happens to its sign? Yeah. So am I going to put it at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end? In the middle, because its power is 1. So that'll give me 3t squared minus 5t minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so we definitely need to set that one up. All right, what's weird about letter B? Look at 4, 10, and 14. What do they all have in common? A factor of 2. Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we have a GCF. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to quickly deal with a GCF when you're solving. If you're factoring completely like we did on the front, the GCF is one of your factors and you have to keep it. But when you're solving, you can just get rid of it, and let me show you why. Are you allowed to divide both sides of the equation by the same thing? Yeah. So let's divide this side by 2 and this side by 2. What's 0 divided by 2? 0. 4x squared divided by 2 is 2x squared. 10x divided by 2 is positive 5x. And negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. Okay, now we're ready to go. And we don't have the GCF to worry about anymore. So that's how you get standard form set equal to 0. And that's how you get rid of a GCF. Cool, 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 cool?
Yeah.
All right, now we don't have to do both of these. We have to do at least one. Which one do you guys want to finish? Which one? B? Okay, let's finish B. So we got rid of our common factor, but our A value is still not 1. So we're going to slide the 2. So that gives us 0 equals x squared plus 5x minus 14. What factors of negative 14 sum to 5? Okay, tell me about their signs. 2 has to be negative. So I have x minus 2 times x plus 7. Okay, I slid a 2, so what must I divide by? 2. I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. What is 2 over 2? Yeah, we get a 1 right here, and then this 2 goes bottoms up. So I get 0 equals x minus 1 times 2x plus 7. Now I'm ready for my ZPP. So I just set x minus 1 equal to 0 and 2x plus 7 equal to 0. This one we can do in our heads, it's just 1. This one we kind of have to do a little bit of work on. So subtract away the 7, we get 2x equals 7, divide negative 7, what am I doing? And then divide by 2, and I get x equals negative 7 over 2 and positive 1. Okay, do we need to do any more of these or are we good?
We're good.
Good? Okay. If you want to see more examples, you can check the completed notes. I'll finish them in the completed notes.